You look like a gypsy. I'm the gypsy queen.
I don't know how to get out of this mess. I don't know what to do with my life. I'm in my early 30s. The clock is ticking. So I remember being surrounded by loved ones who were starting to doubt whether I should keep pursuing this dream or whether I should go get a 9-to-5 for the rest of my life. The entire gaming industry nowadays gets invoiced by this company named Viking Peace and Health Limited, not knowing that that was the weakest point of my life.
So hi everyone, I'm with Eman Pulis. We don't need any introduction anymore, but we still gonna play that game. You're the founder and not CEO anymore of SiGMA.
Correct. One of the few who gets it.
Welcome to our podcast. So this podcast is called Under Pressure. It's in an hyperbaric chamber. We're actually under pressure of 1.5 atmospheres. And it's called Under Pressure not because my questions are going to be challenging for you. It's more because in this podcast, we're going to invite founders and CEOs. I mean, I consider you not only as an acquaintance from the industry, but as a friend. We both live in Cyprus. And I'm very honored you have accepted to come and join this first edition.
On quite a short notice as well.
Yeah, very short notice. Yeah, like 15 minutes ago, literally. The concept why we call this podcast Under Pressure, it's because of your journey. It's because it's a journey of a founder. The loneliness that is behind this journey of the founder. That's why what I would like to talk with you about. So it's the 10th anniversary of SiGMA, was just during last SiGMA in Malta. And you started SiGMA 10 years ago, and I remember very well, we were one of the first exhibitors. And back in time, you were coming from the entertainment industry. I don't think anybody would believe in you. You were challenging MIGS, which was an operation, an exhibition show that was organized with KPMG. Can you tell us about that, how it started?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh my God, going down memory lane. It's only been 10 years. 2013, I was probably at my weakest. You know, you have to also understand where I was coming from when I started SiGMA. And I shared some stuff with you, which I shared recently on a Maltese podcast, yeah. I had tried businesses before, which failed. And as an entrepreneur, you're the last one who needs to give up, yeah. So I remember being surrounded by loved ones who were starting to doubt whether I should keep pursuing this dream or whether I should go get a 9-to-5 and be attached to that paycheck for the rest of my life. And couple that with some trauma which I went through with a business partner, happened to be the worst decision of my life. You know, not knowing entrepreneurship as well.
I've been there too, and I think a lot of founders have been there too.
Yeah. So you jump into a partnership not doing your homework or due diligence about someone. And in 2012, that's what I did. I joined a partnership with someone. This someone happens to be abusing substances. And I used to go in the office and I say, but why is he so erratic? He doesn't show up for a number of days. Then he comes in the office, creates a mayhem. So the pressure is all on me, right? This guy then passed away from an overdose.
Okay.
I remember we had a loan with Bank of Valletta of 16,000 euros. The bank would keep calling me every couple of days, listen, what's going on? And you know, for someone who never had a dime of debt, something like that weighs on you. 16,000 euros, I remember, was the outstanding balance. And you know, that was one of the lowest points of my life, you know. I don't know how to get out of this mess. I don't know what to do with my life. I'm in my early 30s. The clock is ticking. Loved ones are starting to doubt whether I can make it. So I said, let me go back to what I do best, which is events. and let me flip this company, which was a software
I
white
was going to
label
ask,
company.
what was the company about?
Yeah, this guy was good at selling white label software through affiliation. And he asked me to become his partner because he knew I was industrious. He knew I was good at what I do. So he handled the marketing side. I handled the operation side. So the company was called Viking PC Health Limited.
I still see this in the name of this company
I'm
on our invoices.
I'm gonna get to that. Exactly. So this is the weakest point of my life. I go to the bank, I tell them, give me 6 months. I'm gonna turn this around, I'm gonna stick to what I do best. And I remember saying, Viking PC Health, another failed project of mine. Do I want to hide it or do I want to own it?
Beautiful.
And I said, I will never change the brand, the name of the company, until I exit. So,
Eman, that is magical thinking. Seriously, that's what you have in the movie The Secret. That's how you manifest shit. That's how you bend reality.
yeah. So everyone at SiGMA, the entire gaming industry nowadays gets invoiced by this shitty company named Viking PC Health Limited, not knowing that was the weakest point of my life, which now I own proudly.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's where I started. I didn't start from zero. I actually started from minus 16,000 euros.
Right.
And that's how SiGMA took off.
Right. And so SiGMA started, and you had MIGS in front of you.
Correct.
Can you explain us how you challenged MIGS and how you took over?
Yeah. Again, I was completely naive to the industry. I was an outsider. I knew how to do events, but I didn't know anything about the online gambling industry. I didn't know what affiliates are, what operators are, and what the suppliers are. So I used to go to clients and pitching SiGMA, not knowing the basic foundation of what makes the gaming industry. And I did a lot of mistakes, right? I also didn't do my SWOT analysis. I didn't know who my competitors were. So a couple of months down the line, after I launched SiGMA, I get to find out that there's another small conference being organized by 4 companies who had an interest in the gaming industry. And these 4 companies obviously had a lot of clout in the industry. They had a lot of sway with speakers, with all the gaming industry, with the regulator as well. So I ended up in a situation where I confirm a speaker, I put them on the website. Barely 24 hours later, that same speaker calls me, tells me, listen, Eman, you mind removing me from the website because something came up. Another speaker calls me the next day. Listen, Eman, I have to cancel because something came up and I can't make it on the day. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? Then I realized, yeah. But we had one secret formula which worked really, really well. I had the support to launch SiGMA from a number of affiliates who loved coming to my parties. So because of the parties I organized in the past, and because of the relationship I had with them, they were with me no matter what.
So that's also the 400 affiliates starts with.
Correct. So
because you created a whole ecosystem, but for the people who don't know that, you created a whole ecosystem where basically your customers are the B2Bs. For them to come, you need the B2Cs, and for them to come, you need the affiliates.
Exactly.
So basically what you did...
We got deflected.
Exactly.
And then the whole system that folded into place.
That's exactly that. So you invited the affiliate for free.
Yeah.
The biggest affiliates were coming. Operators were coming. And then, of course, B2Cs were coming to sell to the operators.
Correct.
And that's I would say one of the main specificity of SiGMA and one of the formula of its success is that, right?
Yeah, I would say.
It's creating that specific...
I would say. And 10 years ago, there was this fragmentation of affiliation, you know. M&A wasn't as rampant as we know it today.
Yeah.
So it was important to reach out to a wide spectrum of affiliates. Nowadays, you know, the top 6, and they have acquired A lot, yeah. So now the dynamics have changed a bit. But back then, having the pulse of the affiliate industry was paramount to the success of SiGMA.
Yeah, completely true.
Yeah. And, the first year we had 1,000 people. There was a great buzz on the floor.
Yeah.
The minister of iGaming came, and we turned this into a flagship show, which Malta finally can use as a platform.
Yeah.
And from then on, the rest was history.
So I remember the first SiGMA show. We had a booth
With video slots, you were
with video slots. Yeah,
remember, yeah.
Aliyah was a beast.
slots millionaire back then. Yeah?
We had Slots Million, and we shared the booth with Alex Stevendal, which is a friend of mine.
I still have pictures of yours on the draft serving chisk.
We were serving chisk.
Yeah.
And here in Barcelona, we were serving, I forgot the local beer, Moritz. And we were cutting ham also.
Yeah. Exactly.
What I was going to say, then after that came EIG in Berlin. You had to take over that one.
Correct. So it took us a couple of years to solidify as the only conference in Malta. Then MIGS, I think, died out. But that didn't mean the end of it. Our next big collision came with EIG.
Yeah.
So the industry wasn't like today, Today there's a big event every month. Back then you had 3 events and that was it.
Right.
And Q4 was the time of EIG, Excellence in Gaming. And at the time it used to be held in Germany, I believe.
Right.
So I remember going to Kate's chambers, saying, listen, Kate, why don't we merge forces? You take majority, let me keep minority, and let me run with it. I know what I'm doing. This is going the distance. And I remember, Kate emailing me saying, listen, we appreciate you, but we don't think it benefits us by partnering with you. So we went on full throttle. I remember delegates used to pay $4,000 to attend EIG. I don't know if you remember. It was the exclusive event for the C-levels.
Yeah.
And the barrier to entry was the high ticket price. So I said, okay, you do you. I'll do me. So we started reaching out to all these C-levels. Listen, let me fly you in. Let me put you in a nice hotel. I want you on stage. I want to introduce you to whoever you need to be introduced to. And before you know it, Q4 was for the taking.
Right.
Yeah. So that was very, very interesting times as well. I'm glad Kate sent that email because SiGMA I would be minority shareholder today if they took me on that offer.
So that's a very interesting point to people that are trying to run a business, is that I think it's one of the main rules that I have, at least, is I take every difficulties, every setback as an opportunity. I look at all of them. If you first take the hit, you need to take the hit. Emotionally, you need to take the hit. Okay, it hurts. And then you need to look where is the opportunity.
Correct.
And if I look at my life, all the big jumps that I have done that are like quantic jumps, they came first from a big problem that I had to solve and that was hiding an opportunity inside.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. I use this analogy of, the sweetest stuff comes from the pain,
Exactly.
Even metaphorically, you can see sun-dried tomatoes, they taste so good because they spent a long time, getting beat up by the sun, Same with grapes, you have sun-dried grapes, they taste very sweet, but they go through a painful process.
Right.
Diamonds, the same, they go through immense pressure.
True.
To do. So now I've learned, because I've been through it a number of times, that whenever I'm in deep shit, I know there's something better at the end of the tunnel.
True.
And
that helps a lot.
Immense. Like whenever I'm in deep shit nowadays, I'm in this bubble where I feel good. I don't know. as bizarre as it sounds,
Same for me.
I feel good when I know everything is going against. The only thing I manage to do to cope with is small wins, you know?
Yeah.
So if I look at the summit and I know it's impossible to reach to get out of this shithole,
Yeah.
I focus on small wins.
Right.
And you know, in a month's time, if I look back 1 month, I realize, okay, I'm in a much better position now than a month ago.
Right.
You just keep going, fix one small thing at a time, focus on the small wins. Before you know it, you're stronger than ever.
True. True. So there's one side which is being grateful for what you do, for what you are, and you need to be grateful because we are in a very specific position. I mean, we've achieved a lot of things, and we must be aware and grateful for that. And then the other side is you still want more. It's a complex position to have to be grateful to want more at the same time. And the wanting more also comes from dealing with problems. It's just addressing these issues, and while addressing these issues, growing at the same time. And when you find yourself sometimes in very difficult situation, in very complex situation, where the only thing you want to do is just let it down, or even have some crazy ideas, you need to know that these are the best transformational moments.
Correct. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what happened to EIG?
Well, I guess they felt complacent. They didn't change their formula quick enough. By 2017, I believe, 2016 or 17, EIG was buried 6 feet underground.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, why would you pay $4,000 to go to one show in Q4 when there's another show in a hot jurisdiction that was Malta, giving you a red carpet treatment? You know, it's, you know, everyone loves to be pampered, you know, and we were doing this with those guys.
So then also SiGMA became a symbol of the iGaming industry in Malta. I mean, we could say that Malta made SiGMA, or SiGMA made Malta. It's the chicken in the egg, you know?
The most beautiful investment the MGA could have taken back then. They supported us, and for that, we are eternally grateful to the government. They supported us by taking a stand. But they took a stand knowing only that I was a good events guy. And they said, let's run with it. Let's trust him. Let's be the first one to take a stand. With the stand of MGA, I could go to everyone else and say, listen, if the MGA are taking it, maybe you should consider it as well.
Right.
So that's being able to go to all the gaming companies and say that gave us tremendous support. And to that I'm eternally grateful. And now I feel that by keeping SiGMA in Malta, we are somehow returning back the favor to the country. Yeah.
Right, because now, and that's what we've seen during the past 2 SiGMAs, where you change the venue. Okay, you change the venue, and the new venue can take SiGMA, but the problem is that the island cannot take SiGMA.
Yeah.
The infrastructure of the island are limiting SiGMA. We had, I think, 27,000 delegates during last SiGMA. During even previous SiGMA, it was, 25,000 delegates, something like that. And already, I mean, finding a hotel room, booking just a table at a restaurant, getting a cab, is becoming completely impossible.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's as much as a place can do, and you decided to move the show to Rome. All right, so I think it was Milan first.
Yeah,
Rome,
we can get to that as well.
Rome now. Let's talk about that. But you decided to keep what was the Balkan and CIS show and merge it with the MedTech show and call it MedTech Europe and bring it to Malta, right?
Yeah.
In Malta.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, so look, eternally grateful, as I said, to Malta, and I will always be in debt. For me, it's not what I can gain from the country. It's honestly what I can give back.
Yeah.
I feel like I still owe it to Malta. I am who I am today because Malta created an iGaming ecosystem where I could flourish, you know? So if it wasn't for Malta, I would have never understood the gaming industry. I probably would be teaching physical education in some secondary school, which is great, but this is way more fulfilling for me. So yes, the plan is to keep a show in Malta. Our November show, we moved it to Rome because the infrastructure cannot hold increased numbers of delegates.
Right.
So we have this agreement with the government. I'm going to keep it as is until Malta recognizes that we need a state-of-the-art expo center.
Okay.
I was ecstatic to see the Prime Minister a week after SiGMA doing a press conference just highlighting this point, saying Malta needs a state-of-the-art expo center and the government is going to give concessions for this to happen. So
Would you be involved in that project?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sure?
We would love to, because I believe we can also replicate the success of SiGMA every month. So imagine the Maltese economy doesn't even need to worry about influx of quality tourism because we'd be fixing it with this
That's
business
amazing.
plan. Yeah. So we have created enough awareness now by moving the show to Rome. There was a bit of panic on the island. Okay, why is it leaving? What's happening? What do we need to fix this? Finally, there's full awareness. In fact, I gave a podcast in Malta, in Maltese.
Yeah.
500,000 people saw it. It was in Maltese. So only interesting for the
Remind me how many people we are in Malta?
400,000.
How many?
400 Maltese people. 400,000.
And how many people
Half
saw
a
it?
million saw it.
Okay.
So, and you should see the comment. Please stay here. Please make sure that we give this guy whatever he needs. We need more people like this. Let's avoid brain drain from the country. Immensely touching feedback. So I think now the message is out loud and clear. The country needs an expo center, and let's do it fast. Let's stop procrastinating over political correctness, and let's just go for it. And so once that is done, we'd be comfortable re-injecting the same
Fantastic.
size in Malta. But Malta's happening in September.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, completely.
So we had two shows. September in Budapest, November in Malta. The Budapest show is moving to Malta, and we're expecting 20,000 people there. The November show has moved to Rome, and we're expecting over 35,000 people in the Eternal City.
Okay. Sorry, how many people in Rome?
35,000 is the
35,000
target this
people.
year. We had 27.
And in Malta?
In Malta, we're expecting 15 to 20,000 people.
Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic.
By doing this, a shitty show in Budapest can now expand in Malta, and the show that has reached its limit in
Couldn't
Malta
grow anymore.
can triple in Rome. Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you have also a show in Africa. You have a show in Asia. You have a show in Dubai. They talk about in Brazil.
7 shows, yeah.
Yes. So which are
2 in Europe,
Yeah.
Rome and Malta.
exactly?
MENA region, the Emirates, an extremely exciting region at the moment.
Yes.
Cape Town, South Africa.
Yes.
Beautiful city. I strongly suggest those who've never been.
And Ali,
Forget about SiGMA. Go anytime you want. And you guys are the main.
we are the main sponsor on this one.
Correct. And I
We didn't want to miss that one.
thank you. Manila
Yeah.
is the Asia one. Sri Lanka, South Asia.
Wow.
We're launching this in December. There's 2 billion people in South Asia.
Okay.
Between India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan, a quarter of the world population. They deserve to have their own conference for the region.
Fantastic.
And I always forget the last one, Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Very important.
The largest
one.
show in Latam is
Yeah. Well,
our show in April.
I think it's also one where we want to be a main sponsor next year, something like that. But it's a beautiful show, an amazing show. We got great value from that show.
Yeah.
All right, so
Actually, something we wish to do in Brazil. There's these amazing Fokker tours, like the Fokker Stars Tour, the WPT. We feel we have the perfect platform to launch the SPT. the SiGMA Poker Tour.
Fantastic.
So we're picking the hottest poker rooms in the world. And the same time when there's SiGMA, there's also 1,000 poker player battling it out during the conference.
Okay.
And this excites the likes of GG Poker, Poker Stars. They're very excited that we're doing this on the fringe. Yeah.
So if we get back to the conversation we're talking about EIG 2017, SiGMA is growing. SiGMA is eating its competitors, definitely. And then comes 2020 COVID. And that's a big challenge, and that's a big throwback, and that's a very interesting story to tell, because it's the story of, is this the end? Because you're a show where people are coming physically, and basically nobody can't travel anymore for I don't know how long, depending on the country. And you are about to ask yourself, am I gonna close this?
Yeah.
But can you tell us about this?
Oh my God, yeah. Talk about the sweetest stuff comes from moments of pain, yeah? And this is the greatest silver lining in my life. Yeah, I remember getting married in December 2019, sitting on this beautiful porch. Alex, who's behind the camera, was also at my wedding. He's the brother of my wife.
Your brother-in-law?
Yeah, my brother-in-law. And I remember sitting, we were actually looking at an exit back then. So I remember this moment crystal clear, sitting on the porch. And I'm like, everything is just way too perfect. Something is gonna happen,
Or when you feel, it's the pressure that's coming from the calm right before the storm.
It's
in your bones,
I honestly, we got married on this beautiful beach in Phuket. So we had this beach to ourselves. And I had only 20 guests at my wedding, including Alex. And we're all sitting on this porch. I have a picture of it. I'll share it on social media when you publish this as well. And I remember staring, and I'm thinking, there must be a little wave out there, which is gonna become a tsunami.
Fucking tsunami.
Because every tsunami starts with a little ripple, And I remember thinking this loud and clear. This was December 2019. January 2020, COVID is brewing in Asia. And I was living in the Philippines back at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Europe is still oblivious to it. It's in Asia. You remember? It's in Asia. It's gonna calm down. That's it.
Yeah, because they had this HRN1 whatever thing like 10 years before, and we were all making fun of Asian people wearing masks. You remember? I was laughing my ass when I was seeing Asian people with masks.
Exactly.
I don't remember the name of the virus, and it hit us.
Oh my God. And then, so the exit went down the drain, as if I'm gonna sell and go through an earnout in a COVID situation. So
you were in discussion, right? So
I was entertaining. We were even doing some due diligence, so it was advanced, You
can talk about it, or
well, I think I said enough.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I said enough. But that in itself was the greatest blessing, because from this peaceful moment of I just got married, we're looking at an exit, everyone's happy around me, I'm providing for my loved ones, to becoming redundant, literally. Like COVID made us redundant. But I remember not only did we close ourselves in, that was the time we launched the VC fund. It was a time where we hardly fired anyone. We wanted to retain everyone because we knew there was light at the end of the tunnel. We also launched the SiGMA Foundation during the time of COVID. So on one hand, I'm trying to keep this sinking ship from sinking, by staying afloat. And on the other hand, this crisis led us to get out of our comfort zone. So from one show in Malta, we launched a show in Dubai in the midst of COVID. Why? The only country that was vociferously vaccinating people were Israel and the Emirates. Yeah. Those were at the forefront in vaccination. So I remember thinking, unless we do a show where it's likely to open up first, I'm gonna close shop, because I cannot sustain the business for much longer. And in May 2021, we did the first show in Dubai, which gave us a boost in confidence. Hey, we can do everything, not just in Malta, we can do it outside of Malta. But before you know it, we have 7 shows worldwide now.
And then you did the first post-COVID show that I've attended, at least, in Malta.
Yeah. And Malta was.
It was complicated because I mean most of the people, a lot of people in our industry are coming from Ukraine and Russia, and they were in the
red zone.
They were in the red zone, you remember?
God,
so we couldn't get the Ukrainian and we couldn't get the Russians in on the island, and we couldn't get.
We'll talk about.
I don't know. It's your call, and we couldn't get the unvaccinated people. I personally wasn't vaccinated, and I was with. I'll let you know.
Yeah. I'll talk about it. Fuck it.
And do it. I'll
I
tell you my perspective after.
remember, madness, right? I remember Malta was extremely strict in vaccinating. But there was this frustration in me because you go down the road in Pacheville, there's like 40,000 youngsters snogging each other, in the midst of COVID, and no one gave a shit, the authorities didn't even lift a finger. So I'm like, why the fuck do I have to suffer and close shop when there's this rampant shit going on, So we're speaking to the authorities, and they said, no, Eman, the maximum amount of people we can let in is 100 people. And I'm like, this is SiGMA, we have more. So we come up with this idea. We grab the MFCC, the plan, we dissect it into as many pouches as possible, because the MFCC has multiple entrances. So every entrance has 100 people. And we go with this plan to the health authorities, and we said, listen guys, it's black on white now, you have a way out, this is it. We're gonna let 100 people in, and we're going to organize 15 different events.
I didn't know about that one.
Yes. Otherwise, there was no way that event was going to happen.
Okay.
So they said, listen, we'll do it, but only those who can come from the whitelisted countries, no one from the red zone, only vaccinated people, and you can have only 100 people per event. And they said and signed it off. And I remember going back to the office, I'm like, guys, we have a chance, I have a chance.
We have a foot in the door.
I have a chance. So imagine my frustration. Clarion had a really good show in Amsterdam. SPC had a really good show in Barcelona. And I cannot have a fucking show in Malta. This was how frustrating and unfair it was. But we finally found a way out. We did the show. Everyone was wondering how the hell did they manage to get the permits to organize SiGMA, So everyone was baffled.
Right.
So we did it, and we had a significant amount of people at the conference. And the authorities started getting a bit concerned, because the media started wondering as well, how?
Yeah.
How? So I remember then we had a party as well, and the authorities, I think, because of what was going on, they shut down our party. Yeah. We had Akon coming. Yeah. I think it was a mistake in hindsight. We shouldn't have.
Yeah, you pushed it a little bit too much.
Yeah, too much.
And you want to talk about the other parts?
Too much. Well, look.
If you want to talk about it.
Yeah. I say allegedly. Yeah. Allegedly, a number of delegates were even coming to Malta because they didn't want to get the vaccination, or they from Ukraine or from Russia or from, and allegedly some of these delegates were finding their way in through boats, shuttles coming from Sicily. I could fly to Sicily.
Yeah.
And then there was this ferry allegedly bringing those delegates
So I have a friend that knows a friend that was on one of these boats. with a lot of Ukrainian girls. Actually, it was a very interesting.
What an experience, no?
What an experience! What an experience!
The commitment to attend the show, that you're willing to put, to risk it all, and the journey was excruciating.
Yeah.
Because I heard it was sailing boats, not even motorboats.
No, it was okay. I only had good reports about it. I even have a story. The skipper at some point did something amazing.
Yeah.
He gave the direction of the boat to someone.
So you heard.
And he fished.
Oh, he went. Yeah.
He took this fish,
The freshest tuna.
he cooked it. He made some kind of Chinese thing with the rice and whatever, and served that to all the people that were on that boat. And apparently, it was amazing. I mean, I wouldn't know it because first of all, I wasn't there. I'm vegetarian. I wouldn't have tried it. But it was not excruciating. Some people were having they came in 2 hours, and some people had 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
But
there's
what a journey, what a story.
But there's a lesson to be learned there, huh?
Tell us.
You never take no as an answer,
That's a good one.
If these guys went to another event organizer, during COVID, they would have said, sorry guys, we cannot do anything to help you.
Yeah.
But to be able to take those calculated risks, hypothetically speaking, to be able to take those calculated risks and find a solution to anything that comes your way, I think that's also what makes certain founders do what they do. They need to be taking incredible amount of pressure, and incredible amount of calculated risk. But that's life of shrewd business. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to constantly stay out of your comfort zone.
So I'd like to talk about SiGMA's DNA. It's a conversation we had, you and I, in the past. I'm not sure how much we can go into it, but there is something very special in SiGMA. It's a company where you have a lot of young people, and you can feel the thirst, you can feel the hunger. I had several account managers, and I can feel the dedication. I can text them at midnight, which I wouldn't do with my own staff, to be honest. Really. And they answer me. And there is this. So, on one side, you have a feeling of it's not the best organized thing. It's almost like a giant that's building itself while it's walking.
Yeah.
So it looks like a work in progress. It gets big, and it's young, and there's an energy that drives it that I've seen in very few organizations. So I've heard a lot of complaints about SiGMA sometimes being a mess. But you could say, okay, well, it's also Malta. It's also
not only that. We have decided to go into emerging markets, where the quality of supplies is what it is. We're in Brazil, we're in the Philippines, we're in Malta. A boot is not going to look always perfect. There's going to be issues there. The carpeting might not be perfect, but I promise you, the obstacles we go through, like, let's just mention Malta, there's not a fucking expo center that could take 27,000 people.
And I've seen, I've been in Manila, and I've been in Manila 1 day before, 2 days before, they were building the booth. I couldn't believe that the show was going to be ready on time. It looked it looked like something very surreal, you know.
Yeah. If you go to the US, to the UK, to Germany, to Dubai. Dubai, we don't have this issue. Dubai is Dubai. There's a tremendous workforce there that can get shit done. But we have decided to go into emerging markets because we saw an opportunity there. So I attribute the lack sometimes of imperfections, not due to my team, because my team is insanely driven, and the experience is there. I have a lot of people who have been in the company for 6+ years. And that fills me with joy, right? Because it means they see in SiGMA a family where they can grow, and they see a career, they see progression.
And there's this family tribe aspect in SiGMA. You have this alumni mentality, where people that were working for SiGMA, that left SiGMA, that are working in other companies.
They never really leave.
They never really leave.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting, actually, because they can work for an operator, for a B2B, and guess what? They're going to be customers of SiGMA tomorrow.
We spoke about this once, yeah.
Our partners, Hamza, was here an hour ago speaking with you. And can you tell why he wanted to talk to you?
Yeah, look, everyone in the industry, or in our industry, in the events industry, when they leave, they're going to be working in a gaming company.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. For me, to see someone who I have influenced and now wants to go out there and build his own little empire, that makes me feel good. It means that I have inspired someone to realize, listen, I can do this, So absolutely, when I see gaming companies rebelling against a candidate because he's leaving, you need to do this, no,
we're not gonna talk to you anymore.
No, you have an opportunity for this guy to become an ambassador.
An ambassador of your, exactly, And not only an ambassador, but even, let's say, that even a buyer, a partner, whatever.
Exactly. This industry is so incestuous. Everyone is doing business with each other.
Completely.
So for any founder out there, this podcast is for founders. Well, it's for everyone, it's about founders. Any founder out there that is so short-sighted that they cannot let a good candidate leave with peace of mind, I tell them, please reassess, because you're doing yourself a disservice.
And also, they come back.
Yeah, the boomerang effect, I love it.
They go for 2 or 3 years, they acquire experience in another company that you don't have in your own company, come back with this experience, they come back home.
Correct.
And now they've grown, and they were an executive or a manager in your company, and they come back as a head or the C-level after being 2 or 3 years offside. That's the most beautiful thing that have happened to us. I mean, several times.
Correct.
And I'm very happy. I mean, of course, I'm sad sometimes to see some specific profiles leaving the company, but I'm generally happy for them. And I never believe this is the end of our story.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
Yeah.
It's just a pace.
Yeah. And it's honestly like a family, right? I know some people don't want us to use this term because they feel we're exploiting the term family for our own interest as a business. But I genuinely see it as a family. I can't use any other word, I'm sorry.
I have another word, and I have a little other concept I want to share with you. I call it a tribe. Why I call it a tribe? Because in the family is run by bloods. So the brother is winning over the cousin, or the stupid brother is winning over the smart cousin in a family. Okay? In a tribe, the tribe is ruled by meritocracy. Okay, that's why I prefer the term tribe.
I like it.
And they are their family. I mean, they are. Before in all Valea, we had a lot of young people. They had fathers and mothers, but they didn't have a wife, and they didn't have kids. The new Alea, we have all the people. We have fathers, we have mothers, and they are what is their real family.
Yeah.
So Alea is more like a tribe for them.
Yeah.
And they know that they gonna get the position depending on their merits and not because they slept or did or whatever, or they are the brother of someone. So that's why I prefer the term tribe.
I like
family.
I'm gonna start using the third side, yeah. But yeah, treat them like loved ones in the sense.
Yes.
Everyone goes through a rough patch,
Yes.
whether it could anything, whether it's a sickness in the family, substance abuse, a death of a loved one. Everyone goes through rough patches,
Yes.
and they can completely zone out for a few months. Don't be so rigid, just embrace them, give them time off, pay for a holiday for them, make sure they're coming back stronger.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For us, for example, what's important is when we're sitting in a chamber, it's health. We try to provide everything we can so they're healthy. Whether we have ice baths, hyperbaric chamber, sauna, gym with 3 personal trainers per day, vegetarian food, glass bottled water. They all have a whoop, wearing. We really we care. We take care of our own.
Yeah.
And I say a lot, maybe I shouldn't say it this way, I'm going to correct it. Actually, Stephen Valentine from Contract corrected me. I was saying, and I wrote, we won the award lately for best place to work, and I said our employees are more important than our customers. I should say it in other ways, our employees are as important as our customers.
Yeah.
A credit to Stephen Valentine from Contract. So you must put your employee at the core of your organization.
Absolutely.
And I think that's completely what SiGMA does.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen it. I know your organization. I know your people. And I think that great big part of your success. And there is this energy, something I can't really pinpoint in SiGMA. These young people partying together and doing events together, traveling together. There is almost something, I don't know if I could qualify it like that, almost coming from the youth, almost sexual in a way. There is something that life that comes out of them.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
How would you describe it in your own words?
I know exactly what you mean. We do have a lot of people in their late 20s, their early 30s, and they do inject this level of energy that you don't see in many other companies.
Cool.
Over the past few years, we have learned to complement it with more experienced folks. So lately we've been hiring a lot of people that are, older than I am, in their 50s. And at first I was a bit skeptical that the two won't get along, but it has helped us tremendously to bring SiGMA to a new level where we can not only keep the energy with our clients, but nowadays we can also communicate more effectively with the C-levels out there.
Yeah.
We can communicate more effectively with government bodies.
Yeah.
And because we have the seniority alongside the youth
And that
energy. And understanding that a mix of both is crucial has helped us to start turning SiGMA from this little fraternity into something a bit more holistic.
And that's also new DNA because what was your position before? You were some kind of you were working for a governmental body for Malta, right? When you were in Riga, what were you doing exactly?
That's correct. I was an envoy, a diplomatic envoy.
Exactly. You have a diplomatic background.
Correct.
And SiGMA has that in its DNA. It's not just an event organization. It's a body that is in contact with governments, with entities, regulators. You have that.
Yeah. And look, let's rewind a bit. Demand for online gambling has exploded worldwide. Governments are realizing that the only way to go is to regulate. Failure to do so your citizens are unprotected. And on this premise, coupled with the fact they can collect tax money, a number of governments are listening to us. They're open to the idea of seeing an expo being held in their country, and they're open to the idea of also regulating the space. This is why you see us in Sri Lanka, you see us in the Philippines, you see us in Dubai, Sao Paulo. These are all emerging markets that are starting to regulate.
And also, each time I'm in a SiGMA conference, and thank you for that, I mean, you bring to the booth always a prime minister, a ministry of finance. I mean, you can see that SiGMA has made all these political connections.
Yeah. And I think it's important to have this platform. So SiGMA is trying to be this perfect platform. We're far from perfect now, but we've celebrated 10 years. Our journey for the next 10 years is to become this perfect platform where the business community, regulators and governments, but also the players, and I can expand on this, can converge for the industry to grow sustainably.
So, can you explain that?
Yeah. So we have the business community, right? You go at our conference, you see thousands of business delegates. We also bring ambassadors, government representatives, the regulators, not one, but multiple regulators, corporate service providers who are discussing with regulators the best way forward. We want those guys to come and see what the industry is made of. But we're also a platform where players can come for alternative dispute resolution. They can come for honest reviews of games and casino sites. So the SiGMA portal has now honestly...
This is SiGMA Play, right?
SiGMA Play, yeah. We have one website, sigma.world. Sigma.world has all the intel about the events, but has also all the intel where players can converge.
And that's also adding another brick to your 360 strategy is that now you're getting more and more player traffic on your website.
And look, for anyone who's into SEO, look at our site.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Look at any other site out there and you'll see the hits we're getting. It's incredible performance. Yeah?
Now, on the business level, that means that in terms of ecosystem,
actually, we spoke about, because you're planning something on the same lines.
we're getting there.
We're
getting there. It's an idea I have for a long time, but
food takes time to cook, and so is SEO.
And you've executed before us, but we're getting there. But what you did actually is you brought the affiliates to get the operators to get the B2Bs, and now you're bringing the players. So by bringing the players, can you explain this?
Correct. Look, I'll put it in simple terms. You know, I have an amazing sales team. This sales team goes to operators, says, listen, dear Bet365, would you like to take a stand at our show? And usually the feedback is, it's too much hassle. Leave me alone. We have enough affiliates. By having this database of strong traffic, we can now go to the same Bet365s of this world and say, listen, can we send you some traffic? But we would like you to take a stand. Our pitch is much stronger, of course, now, you know? And not only the operators, game providers, they also want the streamers to stream their games.
Obviously.
So we see value in having good traffic, not only with the operator, but also with the game providers, because they want us to review their games.
Yeah.
There's 80 games coming out every week.
Yeah.
The market is rampant with new content. So it's a very competitive space, and it gives us the chance to work more closely with the industry. So it's like a vortex.
Completely.
You know? It's a slow process. We've been at it for 2 years, and we're only now starting to see bearing the fruits of our hard labor. But for this, we have a team of 50 people based in Serbia.
Okay.
And that's our core office that handles all the SEO. Yeah.
All right. There is another topic I would like to touch. When we go to SiGMA Awards, at the end of each SiGMA Awards ceremony, we have the auctions. Okay. We've seen some very generous donors. Alea will part of them, but not that for one of them. Yeah. Not like some others that are really giving away a lot. I don't have the name of this bold gentleman from the Payment Solution. What's the name of the company? Executive Payment Executive. Oh, he did payment. Something like that.
Chris is his last name, and my liquidity is
Yeah, something like that.
yeah. Apologies, it took me a while to come to it. Yeah.
Peanut also.
FinUp, Focus Gaming is one that deserves particular mention. I mean, this is a media company, you know, it's not the billion-dollar business, and his heart is so in it that he's always there. Francesco, he's always there.
So yeah, true, completely.
Yeah.
I see what we talked about. So we see these companies, these people buying paintings or sculptures and for the SiGMA Foundation.
Yeah.
I really find that beautiful, and I would like you to explain us what you're doing with the SiGMA Foundation.
Yeah. It's something I started during COVID when I had a little bit more time on my hands. And the SiGMA Foundation is basically there to give back. You know, Alex, you and I are blessed to be in an industry that is so successful, so wealthy. You know, you don't have to worry where your next meal is coming from.
Exactly.
You know, so do I, and so many of our peers, multimillionaires, billionaires from the industry who are hyper successful. So we're sitting on this platform surrounded by these rock stars, and it was the perfect opportunity for us to create something where we can collect proceeds, resonate with a message, and build projects, not necessarily in places where we have an interest, you know? I could easily use the funds to build a project in Manila, or in Malta, or in Dubai, where we have a show. But no, we set up a foundation that is completely autonomous from us. It's run by a team of highly dedicated people whom we cover their salaries, but it's a completely autonomous organization. They decide which projects to support. In fact, the projects we've been helping are far from the proximity of our conferences. So there's no influence politically or whatsoever. We have a project in Colombia, a project in Peru, a project in Ethiopia. Recently, we inaugurated a school to empower women in a number of neighboring villages. So we raise funds by doing this auction at the end of every awards night. We have 7 awards night. At the end, we auction 6 pieces. And the response from our friends in the industry has been overwhelming. You know, maybe we're not auctioning Monets or Da Vinci's, but still, the amount of money poured in for these paintings helps us to build not only 1 project per year, but 4 or 5 projects per year.
Fantastic. And I remember having a conversation with you in Sofia, where you explained me how it was important for you. The project we were discussing about was a school, and you were talking about education and kids. Can you explain that, please?
The one in Ethiopia?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this year we built a school to empower women in neighboring villages. Alea has one of the 4 classes we built. A class for embroidery, knitting, cooking, and computer classes. One of those 4 bears the Alea title. So one day I'd love you to come with me when we inaugurate the next project so you can see the Alea class.
Definitely. Thank you.
Trust me, it's touching.
It's all you told me that. Yeah.
It's the best spa for the soul. I promise you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the year before we built a school for 1,000 kids who now don't have to walk 3 hours to go to school, to the next school. they only have to walk 20 minutes or 30 minutes, which basically provides, a shelter for these kids. And we provide them with meals every day as well. And that has been the secret success of the formula. Maslow, the hierarchy of needs.
Exactly.
Give them food and basic needs, and then they can focus on education.
Exactly.
And the formula is extremely successful. We work with the Catholic diocese here, and the partnership has been amazing ever since.
So what's the future of the SiGMA Foundation? What are the plans?
The more projects. The SiGMA Foundation is based in Malta, but I want to open its doors to the gaming industry more and more. So every time we go to inaugurate a project, or every time we do a fundraising expedition, I want more gaming people to understand it, because you can only realize the need out there by going, touching, seeing, and feeling what there is out there. I was blessed to see some of the rock stars from the industry, someone from Spribe, Dennis from my own company, and another lady from Olen Diversity Project. They came with us to Ethiopia, and you could see them with tears gushing.
That's beautiful, man.
From their eyes, No other holiday, no other trip will give you this roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
So, my appeal, if I may take the opportunity, Alex, is the minute you can get a chance to come with us, either to Ethiopia or to Cambodia, please do seize the opportunity and reach out to me.
Fantastic. Yeah. And one other subject I would like to touch is Ikigai. Ikigai is your funds. There's several gem company inside. Could you first start about how the idea for Ikigai came, and maybe you want to talk about some specific projects that are inside or they evolving and who invested or...
With pleasure. So again, we're blessed to be surrounded by rock stars in this industry. And during COVID, when I was becoming redundant, I said, okay, I need a fallback, And I need to be able to leverage this network for something more than a stand at a show. So Ikigai Ventures took off from there. I approached as many rock stars as I felt comfortable, who most of them agreed to pitch in. We use the SiGMA group as hedging. So if this fund doesn't perform as well, these guys have the peace of mind, including yourself, if I'm not mistaken, Alex, have the peace of mind that the SiGMA group will come in to make good for the investment. And together, this team of 20, 30 rock stars, we incubated a number of projects, and we also invested in a number of startups. So now it's been running for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And we incubated 3 projects. Quantum Gaming, Wicked Games.
The platform? The platform?
Yeah. Wicked Games, Game Studio.
Game Studio.
And Wicked Live. So Game Studio and Live Games. Yeah.
The live games. Yeah.
Yeah. So the hope is for this project to grow in the next 6 years, when it's time for the fund to close and return the investment to all the LPs.
So again, it's a way to create and continue creating this ecosystem vortex.
Yeah.
Where SiGMA is in the middle. You know so many people.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why you wouldn't take that opportunity to invest and create these companies and push these companies and have the best talents coming to work within this company.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. 2 things I'll say to that, The fire I had in me for entrepreneurship. Like I look back and I'm like, wow, there was some tough, bumpy road, So if I can look back and see other folks in their teens or in their 20s, and if I can spot the same fire that I had when I was their age, but I can help mentor them, which is something which I didn't have. And that's something which fills me with joy, to be able to mentor the few people that have the same fire. So that's one. And two, it's closely tied to the SiGMA Foundation. My dream when I was in my early 30s was to become a millionaire. And I measured this million in monetary terms. I wanted to become a millionaire. I was after financial freedom, basically. Fast forward 10 years, and that mission has been accomplished. But now in my early 40s, 10 years after I fulfilled this dream, I find myself again wanting to become a millionaire. Only that this time, this million is not measured in monetary terms. It's measured by the positive impact I can leave on those who are below the poverty line. So that's my scale, the poverty line, anyone below it. If I can fix and bring up at least 1 million people above the poverty line, then I'm a genuine millionaire. Yeah. So for me, the SiGMA Foundation cannot be relying exclusively on the generosity of people like yourself, who raise their hand and donate. Well, it's a donation after all. I need the SiGMA Foundation to run like a business.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why I went all in with Ikigai Ventures. Eventually, when it's time to divest, I want to give some of my equity to the SiGMA Foundation. So if quantum gaming, if weighted games are running successfully, the SiGMA Foundation can rely on the success of Ikigai Ventures to help me become a millionaire.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So this is the complex web of the SiGMA events, the SiGMA Play, Ikigai Ventures, the SiGMA Foundation. It looks chaotic.
I was going to tell you something. Yeah.
It looks chaotic. I know. Some people don't understand what I'm trying to do.
And I tell these people that I have the same concern on my side, in my team. We're opening Alea Pay now, and we're opening new projects. And they tell me, Alex, we need to focus. And I say, yes, you're right. There's the law of focus.
I hear this all the time.
There is a law of focus, but there is also the law of creating an ecosystem. And I remember this interview from a guy that was one of the first employees in PayPal when Elon Musk co-founded PayPal. And they say all these co-founders, they were co-founders in other companies. And you see that Elon Musk today runs X, like his own personal social business, okay? But the boring company, Tesla, SpaceX, okay?
Yeah.
And what this guy was saying is that they were doing PayPal and other stuff, and they were learning from each of the niche, from each of the business they were working in, and they were this learning that they had from this business, they were injecting it back in the other business, etc., etc. So the fault is slow. Again, for founders out there, should not be the master law. It cannot be the master law because there is the other opposite law, which is ecosystem law.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've proven it. What you are creating is an ecosystem, but it's not just about a product ecosystem. It's much more than that. SiGMA Foundation, Ikigai Ventures, SiGMA Play, etc., etc. And you started with the affiliates first, and then bring that. So it is very important to think as an ecosystem. Yeah, and within Ikigai, actually, it's also an ecosystem within an ecosystem.
Correct.
Because what do you have? You have a platform, and you have also
games,
the games, and you have the live games.
Correct. Maybe God willing, funds too will see us going into the more heavy stuff like banking, going for a banking license, and a bit more on the compliance, the corporate. But that's for the future. No rest.
So Eman, you're a little bit of a gypsy. You
I love that word. I love it.
You look like a gypsy.
Thanks, you.
You didn't expect that one.
I'm the gypsy king.
You're gypsy king. Actually, you know that Gypsy Kings is a French group. They're French.
Yeah.
So you've lived in Malta, you've lived in Philippines, okay? Now you're in Cyprus. Actually, we are neighbors. I'm in Cyprus too.
Yeah. We need to meet more often, man.
Yeah, I don't spend enough time there, to be honest. But yeah, I'll be there in 2 or 3 weeks if you're there. But also, there's all these shows that are coming up now.
Yeah.
The shows season. What's next? What's next after Cyprus?
Yeah, gypsy. I love the word, and it's true. For our business to grow, we believe a lot in this term by Thomas Friedman. He coined in this book, The World is Flat, the word glocalization. So for us, it's imperative that we don't have one office in Malta for world domination. We need to be decentralized, and that's why we have 7 offices nowadays. And all of these offices have autonomy for decision making, whether it's the one in Brazil, the one in Manila. You know, I lived in Philippines to set up the office in Manila, or the one in Cyprus, or the one in Belgrade, or the one in Noida in India. They all have
Very impressive, really impressive.
a level of autonomy. And it's not an office of 2 people, 3 people. We have an office, but you just have 2 people. It's 40 people, 100 people, you know? And for us, that glocalization is very important. So we think global. SiGMA has a global mandate, but every event is done by locals for locals. And I think it's part of the success story that we've managed to empower a team of rock stars in all those satellite offices. So yes, jokingly, I started this in Malta. Then I went to Asia because I wanted to replicate the same formula. And in 2 years, I've managed to build a nice office there. Then when I left the Philippines, I looked at, okay, where next? I realized that there was a strong Slavic community entering the gaming industry. I mean, if you go to any gaming conference of ours, it's 30% Slavs.
Yeah.
And, you know, we didn't go to Russia or we didn't go to Ukraine. We went to Cyprus because it was the place where a lot of Slavs found a home.
True, and especially after the war in Ukraine started, even more.
Exact. So 2.5 years ago, I started an office there. Now we're 50 people in the Cyprus office. And hand on heart, I believe we have the strongest rapport with the Slavic industry in iGaming. So now that is set. And yes, I am looking at relocating to see which country worldwide deserves my focus, so we can set up an office and conquer a region. I still don't know. I've been looking at northern Italy, also because of our CEO, but nothing is cast in stone for the time being. But yes, we don't plan to stay in Cyprus forever. We love people. We love building. My wife is completely supportive of what I do, and she will follow me even to Afghanistan if I were to go there. Yeah, so I'm eternally grateful for being who she is. Yeah, whenever I will decide, you'll be the first one to know.
Thank you very much. Eman, I would like to thank you for sharing your journey with us. It's an insightful journey, and I mean you've done a lot, and I've seen the path you've taken, and nothing but respect for what you've done. And really, again, thank you for being the first one to inaugurate this podcast with us.
It's an honor. It's an honor to have me as your first guest. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
Thank you. So now what are we going to do? We're going to unpressurize this chamber. Alexei is going to open the valve. It's going to be a little bit noisy and the pressure is going to go out. So you see that this interview is being done under pressure. The- Wow, very good.